us adults, it doesn't matter. But it was real cute having like a real younger kid brother who was like looking up to me. And he
Hmm.
also painted his nails when I painted my nails in high school. So it was pretty adorable.
The irony of your goth story and the baseball story. So back to Chicago Bears, right? Rumored to draft Caleb Williams, who's going to be number one for those of you who don't follow football. But there was this whole scandal that he was wearing pink nail polish a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
And Chicago, yeah, like melted down over it. And it's like this huge thing people are still talking about. It's like,
Really?
who cares if he can throw touchdowns? Like,
Right.
let him
Yeah,
be himself.
exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck. I hate that.
Yeah, me too. I don't get why. I mean, people should just be free to be who they are if they're not hurting other people. And
Hmm.
for some reason, people get so triggered by what other people are doing. Like paint, like who cares if he's painting his nails? Who
Yeah, who
cares?
gives a shit? But there's a long like toxic masculinity has been intertwined in sports and everything else,
Mm,
but especially sports for so long. And it's such a manly thing to do. And so you're supposed to like look like a man and act like a man and be real strong and tough. And that is like, you know, you should not, there should not be any like ounce of like feminism or something on you. And
yeah.
nail polish is very femmy, right? So, yeah, I hope that he can like paint his nails and throw a bunch of touchdowns and we can all evolve with him.
Me too. I would
Yeah,
actually love if he did keep painting his nails if that's what he wants to do, because
right.
um, I just want to see how he plays football. That's it.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
on the toxic masculinity thing though, it's funny you say that because I wouldn't. I mean, I masculine, feminine. Like I think those are just thrown around, and we don't even need those really in our vocabulary. But
Hmm.
I was a sensitive. I am a sensitive person, both about myself and then for others, right? And I always kind of got that, like, man up. Why, why
Yeah.
are you friends? Why are most of your friends girls? Like all of that
Hmm.
kind of don't cry, all of that stuff. And it is
Hmm.
just so like I didn't even think about it with this Caleb Williams situation, but it's just so intertwined that it evokes anger from people.
And it's really intertwined. When I first started playing baseball as a kid, I was not a very good hitter, so I'd have like I'd strike out a lot. And every time I struck out, I'd want to cry because I was like so upset about it. But I knew that my dad would be so embarrassed. And I got the like, there's no crying in baseball line before that was a fucking line in a movie. Like that was, yeah. So there was, I really wonder what would have happened if like I was allowed to be my sensitive self while on the baseball field. And it was like, comforted or understood or like like there was compassion and like but there was no space for emotions and sensitivity on the field, and that really like stunted my emotional development, and that's kind
Oh,
of a
I bet.
tragedy.
And you know what too? Not I didn't expect us to go into the sports talk here, but this is fun. You
Uh-huh.
know, it's interesting because if you were to have struck out and probably gone to the sidelines or the dugout, I guess would be, and you
Right.
would have like kind of thrown your batting helmet down or something, that would have been acceptable,
Right,
right?
good
But if you were
point.
to cry, that wouldn't have been. And I think about this too. Like I always go back to the NFL because that's the sport I watch the most. But people love Tom Brady's passion when he would go and throw his helmet down and yell at guys. But if he were to go and cry at the end of a lost game or Super Bowl, people would
Mm-hmm.
say, all
Mm-hmm.
sorts of names that I'm not going to say here to describe him.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
just like, it's all emotion. It's just toxic masculinity and, even feminine in some cases. Like you're
Sure.
supposed to do and behave one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like the and the thing is that like under the anger of people like throwing their helmets down or like tossing the Gatorade table or whatever it is, under that anger, which is a secondary emotion, is a more primary emotion of sadness. So like they should, if they were
Hmm.
even more like in line with their feelings and could like be congruent with them like behaviorally, then they would be really sad or they would be really teary or they would need a hug from their coach, right? Like that would be a lot more genuine. And yeah, that's not there at all.
At all. That
No.
was one of the reasons I didn't like to. I shouldn't say I didn't like to play sports, but man, I I'd like never cry now, which I know is like a result of not really being able to growing up. And so I think about like sports and stuff. And there's this one time I had, this is like the most traumatizing sports experience I had. I didn't ever want to play again, but we were not good in basketball at my tiny little Catholic school. We never won. I think we won one game in like my 3 years that I played. And
Oh,
there was one where we were going to beat a team that we never had any business even competing with. And I'm 6'2" in like eighth grade, so I'm
okay.
the plan is to get me the ball for a
Right.
layup underneath the net.
Right.
I get fouled, 2 shots, miss them both. Okay, no time on the clock,
Mm.
miss them both. Someone jumped early, so I get a third one
Oh shit.
from the foul,
Uh-huh.
missed it, and we lost. It
Oh,
was
crushing.
I had I never wanted to do it again. I cried. It was so embarrassing, shame, disappointment. But
Oh,
that was
God.
I wasn't allowed to
There's
cry. I
there's
was made
so
fun
much,
of.
yeah, there's so much pressure and there's so many people watching you and there's like it feels so meaningful and you let down your team and your coach and your community and the fans and yourself and your family. So of course you're gonna have like a huge emotional reaction, yet there's like no space for it. That's not okay. When that would be
None.
like the most normal human reaction to have in that incredibly specific, unique, crazy experience.
Yeah, exactly. And same for you, striking out. But
Thank you.
we're making something out of all of this, I guess,
We
right?
are. Yeah, yeah.